Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanger. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Undrafted Uncensored, a part of the E5280 Sports Network, where I'm thinking of jumping on the Portnoy lawsuit bandwagon because I started Burrow on Thursday, and now my whole lineup is screwed up.
Yeah, Dave, blame Portnoy for that in the rest of your season, okay?
Wait, like
No,
the drummer for Dream Theater? Mike Portnoy? What did he do?
No, not Mike Portnoy. No, not the drummer. No, but I'm with Portnoy. I want to jump on this lawsuit bandwagon because if I'd have known he was hurt, I would have started Russ.
Oh, well, then you should be blaming the Cincinnati Bengals for not putting it on the injury report.
Yeah, that's why I'm jumping on the Portnoy bandwagon.
That's the lawsuit, right?
Well, yeah. I thought, okay. I thought it was never mind. I thought it was something different. I'm totally wrong.
No. Yeah, unless Dave Portnoy is right about something. And
who is beeping?
That's me because I had to restart my computer. It's telling me all my Adobe apps have been updated or they failed to update, one of the two.
Oh man. Time for the new computer. Happy Black Friday.
It's almost Black Friday.
Yeah.
I was gonna say those sounds are mutable, I think, there, Nick. But if you were if you were as good at hitting parlays as I am, you could probably get one in a night.
I could get one right now if I wanted to. I just wanted to see how far I can take this thing.
Not this far.
Media school.
I was like, I think you've written it to the end.
Yeah. This is the end of the line.
Yeah, it got me through media school.
Yep.
We had some good times together. We made some interesting material.
And we're on to Cincinnati.
And yeah.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah. Well, the Broncos are on to Sunday night.
They're on to Minnesota.
How that game still has not been flexed is beyond me.
It's the legendary showdown of Josh Dobbs and Russell Wilson. What do you mean?
I mean, they had to do it 2 weeks ago if they were going to flex it.
Yeah, which, again, it surprises me that they originally didn't do it anyway because the Broncos were not in a prime position to be on primetime TV, and the Vikings just lost their starting quarterback.
True.
All right, you know what? Just for the sake of argument, I want to see what other options they even had. Maybe there's just no good games this week.
Oh, no, there's some good games.
I think the Eagles have a quality matchup Sunday night.
Well, that's Monday Night Football.
Oh, that's right. That's okay.
Oh, no,
I
actually.
can't flex Monday.
It would be the Jets and the Bills, but they're already on Monday night. And then Steelers and Browns would be the only other really good matchup. Yeah, maybe there weren't any other options.
Wow.
I mean, Steelers Browns is already a better option.
Is it?
Even with the Browns. Well, at the time, yeah. Deshaun Watson was healthy.
Yes, 2 weeks
and
ago.
Pittsburgh is a playoff
at the
team.
time, yeah. Okay,
You gotta think back to 2 weeks ago, fellas. I know it's hard. It's been like 2 weeks.
It's really difficult.
Ugh.
I almost forgot about Nick's winning streak.
Yeah, baby.
2 weeks ago, the Raiders still had Josh McDaniels?
That's
yeah.
True. Those poor fuckers.
Oh, man. Yeah, everything was still looking good for Halloween for the McDaniels kids.
Yeah, most of these games suck. Seattle and the Rams. If Stafford comes back.
Stafford is back, but he was out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so maybe.
You got to think back to 2 weeks ago, Joe.
Yeah. That's it. I know, dude. It's so hard. It's been like 2 weeks.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no,
Right,
Pittsburgh,
then,
Cleveland, and Seattle, and the Rams. I think those are the only options because, like, Tampa Bay and the Niners, we know who's going to win that.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee and Jacksonville could both play shitty, so that'd be fun.
Well, and 2 weeks ago, it was still undecided if it was Tannehill or Will Levis in that game, right?
Yeah.
Because it's been
Levis
2 weeks
came
or
out
3 weeks. Or maybe Levis got his first start 3 weeks ago, but either way, there aren't that many good games. Oh man, it's gonna be hard to. Well, I guess it's gonna be hard to build any money making parlay this week, unless you think some underdogs are gonna win.
Maybe.
I mean, all the games kind of suck, so yeah, I'm sure some underdogs. Who's the underdogs?
Well, like the Bears, the Raiders, they're all big underdogs. The Bears against the Lions, the Raiders at Miami, Dallas Cowboys are going to Carolina.
I bet the Packers are underdogs against the Chargers, but like both those teams kind of suck.
Well, yeah. Now, why the hell do you want to choose a winner in that game?
Someone's got to.
I mean, Commanders, Giants. I mean, the Giants suck, but who knows if the Commanders, go commando and forget they're playing a game.
Oh, man.
I mean, there really are not a lot of. This is an ugly weekend for. Well, at least the Broncos are playing in prime time and look good. I don't know.
Now we know why the Broncos are in Sunday Night Football.
Right? Wow.
There's your answer.
I stand corrected.
I sit corrected.
I'm going to let the Broncos enjoy their moment in the sun and, see if they can handle the illustrious astronaut that is Josh Dobbs, who's also apparently a quarterback.
Man, that guy's got a real rocket for an arm, let me tell you.
Yeah, there it is. Just teeing him up.
Some of his plays are out of this world.
Dude, I saw him had that run into the end zone where he just achieved liftoff.
Countdown's begun to all the astronaut jokes.
Oh man!
Countdown to Sunday Night Football. T-minus 21 hours.
Ground control to Major Josh Dobbs.
I'm telling you, dude, he wins again this week. There's gonna be a lot of people in Minnesota shaving their eyebrows.
For sure. Oh, dude.
How many kids do you think have already started doing that?
Oh, I don't know, man.
That's got to be something kids are starting to do.
I hope so. That sounds great.
The Vikings went from "you like that" to no eyebrows.
I mean, I think it's going to be a long time. The touchdown brings me round again to find.
There it is. And let's just start quoting Elton John. Let's start talking about the game a little bit.
I was going to say, are there any Toms on either of these teams?
I'm sure there's somebody.
I don't know.
Thomas John Hawkinson? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Let's see. What does the T stand for in TJ Hawkinson?
Oh, that's you said Hawkinson. I thought you said something else, not Hawkinson.
There's an
I mean, it could be major if it is Tom's John, whatever. If TJ stands for Tom.
Holy shit!
It could be
Thomas James Hawkinson.
No way.
It could be
control to Major Tom.
It could be a Major Thomas James Hawkinson type of game, though.
Oh God, I hope so.
Because there's no Justin Jefferson in this game. He officially stays on IR for another week.
Yeah.
We all saw what Patrick Surtain did last week.
He's checking the countdown. His engine's on. I don't know what stupid quote I'm going to put at the beginning of this episode now because we've all had good ones just in the past 9 minutes.
Oh man, I mean, I don't know. it's going to be an interesting game because I still don't know we don't know who the Broncos are. They're this team that wants to be treated like the big boys. They want to play hard. They want to play these big important games, and yet they managed to get along. What are we doing here?
Oh,
Can a guy
That
have
sounds
some
like
notes?
static. I still hear you. Oh, there you go.
Nick's over there catching some static.
No, I was trying to pull up some notes and it played an ad, and so I got mad and closed it out.
That's fair.
We had some asteroidal interference.
There was a solar flare going on.
A solar flare.
Messing with our instruments.
Freaking Vikings probably are flying in right now.
I'm just picturing a giant Viking boat just flying through space.
I really don't know how to, I mean, what you were talking about, Nick. I don't know. You're right, how to view this Broncos team. They're still less talented, but they've come away with 2 straight victories over more talented teams.
You viewed them on NBC.
The Buffaloes, or the Buffaloes. The Bills are not that good. The Buffaloes aren't that good either. Apparently,
Bills aren't good either.
We're not talking about CU right now. Yeah. And the Vikings are they really are the definition of next man up this season. I mean, Justin Jefferson goes down, and all of a sudden, Jordan Addison, who we all know is really talented, comes in and plays great. Last week, Alexander Madison goes down, and Ty Chandler, their running back, comes and steps it up. They have an underrated defense. It's really a bend but don't break kind of defense. And the Broncos, with the way that they've only been getting field goals, that scares me a lot in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really nervous about them being able to, touch down in the end zone a few times. I mean, the Broncos have 1 rushing touchdown on the season.
Yes.
That's
so
true.
What are they going to do? Are they going to play that clock control run game, and are we going to leave it up to Russ to make the big play? And then can he make the big play? He's thrown for under 200 yards in 4 of the last 5 games. The picks have been down, but he's still been hit so many times.
Honestly, though, like the lack of yards kind of seems like the formula. Don't make Russ throw it too many times. Keep running the ball. But you're right. That does worry me that kind of plays right in the Vikings' hands, that as long as they can answer those field goals with touchdowns, then according to my calculations, 7 is more than 3.
Yeah.
The dinking dunking is really what they've based their offense on these last couple weeks. And that's great and all, but how many times can you go to that well before it dries up? And now you're going to face a more legitimate defense that's going to come in, and they're going to find a way to turn that off.
And I was just going to say that you look at some of those plays in the last game, the Dink and Dunking, especially on that last drive to Samaje Perine. I mean, those were the Hail Mary type of plays. I mean, it was the last gasp that Russ had to get the ball out, and he just flipped it to Perine. Good on both Russ and Perine for being ready for that. But then do the Vikings make sure that they have an extra cover guy staying there on the running back to stop him from getting out into the flat?
Like a middle linebacker.
Because they've done it for the Broncos have done that same thing for the last 2 weeks. So you got to know that the game plan is kind of out. Is Sean Payton going to change it up? And if he changes it up, can Russ respond? I'm afraid if he tries to make Russ air it out, that the Vikings are going to work the Broncos, because I could see one of those easy, 3-pick games from Russ that's just really ugly if he has to air it out. And, Peyton says this game's on your shoulders. He puts the pressure on himself, and we've seen what he does with the pressure on himself. He folds, he doesn't fold. He makes bad mistakes, which is
makes that decision.
Folding. Yeah.
I wouldn't. No, fully. I see what you're saying. You wanna
it's
call
not
it folding,
folding.
but he overexerts himself to the point where he tries to play beyond his means, and it's not a lack of ability. It's just a lack of skill.
He
that
presses
he's
too
not-
much.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. He presses
That's
too
good.
much
Yeah.
and tries to force something to happen, and that's what scares me.
Yeah, the Vikings having Harrison Smith, he's going to be that guy that kind of comes down and checks those things out because they lost Kendricks at middle linebacker, so they don't have that super awesome coverage and hitting guy. They're starting Troy Dye and a guy named Ivan Pace, who I don't know. Maybe he's a rookie. So those guys could be good coverage guys, could not be, but that's who you got to worry about with that constant check down game, the screen game that I think is going to end up being a bigger and bigger part of the Broncos offense going forward. Just think back to all the Sean Payton teams in recent memory with Alvin Kamara getting all the screen passes. I expect that to be a big part of the Broncos offense. And if the Vikings can sniff those out on guys like Harrison Smith and whichever linebacker wants to step up can get hits and get contests on those passes, that's going to be huge. And then, Russell Wilson trying to force stuff down the field. Harrison Smith and Byron Murphy, those are two terrifying people to have back there. They're good. They're pretty good. So this is going to be a big test for the Broncos offense, I feel like, where Buffalo had Tre'Davious White, but I think he was coming off of an injury, and I think he was mostly on Judy, so they just didn't throw towards him very much. But Minnesota has a more balanced kind of secondary because Buffalo's had so many injuries at safety. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be fun to watch, though. We just got to hope that running game can stay consistent. They can try to keep Russ out of those. How many times do we have a 3rd and long in the last game? God, it fucking drove me crazy. I was talking to
average of like 9 yards.
Dante today, and he's like, I don't know, the Broncos O-line seems pretty good. I thought Russ had a lot of time to throw, and it took a lot of my mental fortitude not to be like, were you watching a different game?
That's because he's running off the backfield trying to keep himself alive.
Yeah, and he's having to go back and shotgun on 3rd and long, which I hate seeing Russell Wilson in shotgun. It drives me nuts. But there's nothing you can do about it when you're that far back. And at least he was tucking and running and getting more yards and doing some of the things. But that's not going to be enough in a game where you're not getting 4 turnovers. But hey, who knows? Maybe we just get fucking 4 turnovers again and everything's fine.
Hey, the tagline for this game is 2 average teams, 2 superstar safeties. 2 high price safeties lead their average teams into battle.
As the quarterbacks can't throw beyond 8 yards.
2 high-priced quarterbacks, one of which isn't even playing. The other one, you can still argue, isn't even playing.
How do you like that?
Yeah, you like that?
2 average teams, 2 average quarterbacks, 2 highly paid safeties. Let's go.
To average your week.
Take out the safeties part, just tagline, 2 average teams, 2 average quarterbacks. That's it.
just that's it. That's it. It's scary. I'm very happy that Justin Jefferson isn't playing in this game. That really, for me, that's the biggest key because now McMillan did have a very good game last week, as the announcer said, McMillian, multiple times. Their announcers, he did have a very good game last week, but if Surtain was on Jefferson and Addison was lined up against the secondary receiver, I think that's a very, very long day for whoever ends up out there.
Yeah.
So the Broncos catch a break with Jefferson. It's not that KJ Osborne isn't any good, but I'd much rather face Addison than Osborne than Jefferson, Addison,
hurt
Osborne.
Too, hasn't he? So
and he had a concussion. Well, he had a concussion 2 weeks ago and was out last week, but he should be back. I thought he was back. I thought he would be back this week. He was a full participant in practice this whole week, so
Okay. Yeah, he has no injury designation. I'm looking right now.
Yeah.
On my telefono.
And like I said, Kareem Jackson comes back this week too, so there's going to be help up top for those guys to really get into their coverages a little bit more.
Hopefully, until Kareem Jackson lays a stupid hit on T.J. Hawkinson, and then Turner Yell's back in there.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Can we not just at least one game? Can we just at least give us one game at least?
Yeah, can we not blast off on Major Tom?
Right. Well, wait. I don't know if I'm going against Major Tom in any of my fantasy leagues. So if I am, then maybe.
Yeah, you're not playing me this week. So don't worry.
That's one of my leagues.
I got 5
nobody
more.
Cares about your other league.
Ready?
I got 4.
Yeah.
Plus my underdog. I am in the obviously 11th week of an underdog. It's called the little eliminator. So basically every week you're up against 8 to 10 different teams. This week it's actually 6. It's the only one with 6, but you have to be in not the bottom 2 to advance every week. And obviously the team you drafted at the start stays with you the whole time. And somehow I've made it through to week 11 with some underperforming players. Like my running backs are terrible, but they're just now hitting their stride, and I get A-Chain back.
There you go.
Oh, that'll be nice.
But yeah, no one cares about my fantasy except for me. I'm just excited.
Yeah.
But if I get past this week, the paydays, I believe, start to hit the triples, the hundreds.
Ooh,
the hondos.
Trip digits.
Look at that.
2 more weeks, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I think, is the thousands.
Ooh.
That sounds kind of cool. I wish I had gotten in on something like that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I had the attention span for that.
That's how it goes. I mean, I'm doing better than Colin in our league, so that works out for me.
By 1 game.
That's enough.
It is.
Actually, it's a game and a half because I have the head-to-head tiebreaker.
Yeah. We'll see. That's all right. I'm okay with that. We can just meet in the championship.
Yeah, or right now, Colin and I were looking earlier today at work at the fan. We would be the first round playoff matchup against each other.
Oh, really?
Playoffs started today. Which sounds like tons of fun. I would love it. Bless you, Colin, for like the 12th time today.
Oh, yeah. I got something earlier.
But yeah, this is going to be a fun game. I'm excited, but
can we discuss?
It's so hard to
do, or is this a victory formation thing that I have to wait?
We're discussing what?
Like I yelled at
well, what time's the game? Sunday Night Football. What games do we pick every week?
Before I get yelled at again and say, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think the score's going to be? You can't do that. Wait till victory formation.
Well, no, we can just rehash it in victory formation. It's fine. The podcast is going to go the same amount of time no matter what.
You want to take Colin's thunder?
It's the victory formation pick 'em.
I mean, you're the host, Nick. Just do it.
I also have the mute power.
Yeah.
Just
for now.
Follow there likes to take everybody's power away from them.
Hey, I totally gave you credit on the intro.
You did.
I'm trying to work on that humble part that Joe talked about in the intro.
That'll never happen.
Always.
Sit down. Be humble.
All right. Well, since we're going to talk about the score later, do we at least how do we feel about the Broncos' performance tomorrow? I mean, we don't have to give scores or anything like that to destroy the victory formation, but like just what's your big thing that the Broncos need to do tomorrow to walk out with 4 in a row?
I feel nervous about how they're going to handle the success they've had the last 3 weeks. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm nervous about Sean Payton changing up the game plan from what's worked and trying to add more wrinkles into it with what's working.
Yeah, we've seen them do that.
If they do not change what they've been doing that has worked, I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful for this game because the defense has caused turnovers, and that's how you win games, even though they barely won the games with the turnovers. I'm excited to see what this defense does against a team that has won. I want to say the Vikings have won 5 straight.
I think 5 straight.
They started the season 0-3.
I knew that. I thought it was only like 2 or 3 straight. Because I know Josh Dobbs has won both games he was involved in. I didn't realize. To the Google machine. That's cool.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how the Broncos handle the success.
Yep, 5 straight wins.
Damn.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. That's cool. So we get to break somebody else's win streak if everything goes to plan, which would be awesome. But yeah, I'm just going to stick with the same thing I said last week. They need to win the turnover battle to really have a chance here. The Vikings, I felt that they were hotter than the Broncos anyway, just from the past couple of games. And doing it with a backup quarterback who's been electric. Like, the guy didn't know the fucking playbook 2 weeks ago and won a NFL game. And it was against the Falcons, so it's not like they beat a world beater of a team. But, like, this is a team that I've been kind of concerned about. Like, I think Colin made a great point. The Broncos could take them lightly because the last few games, like the Packers,
the NFC North just won.
At that point, nobody cared. So they happened to get the win. Against the Chiefs, massive underdogs. Buffalo, massive underdogs. And then now, I think we're actually favored. So, yeah, we can see Sean Payton kind of going back to some of that early season bullshit and getting away from what worked for no reason. But hopefully he's just learned his lesson and was going to be okay. But
it's the Vikings logo in the middle of the field in the practice facility.
Yeah, I think
no, it's at home.
Hey, it's been working.
Yeah, whatever. Just paint a Viking out there.
Put the visiting team's logo in the middle of your field.
Just put the logo for the show Vikings. Just like a movie poster.
That would be a Nathaniel Hackett fuck up.
That would be.
Just like the chef. Just put a picture of Chris Hemsworth.
I expect that from Hackett, not from.
Great job, kid. But who are the chefs?
Yeah, right. But I'm more worried about the Broncos offense. The Broncos offense keeping pace with that Vikings offense that, like Colin said, they're the epitome of next man up. They just keep finding ways to score points and play well and do just enough. So I'm more concerned that the Broncos offense can keep up with that. And like we said, hopefully run the ball, keep them off the field for a good amount of time. So I think the defense will be able to play well, and the Vikings could take the Broncos lightly too, thinking, oh, they're all full of themselves. They've been, the Chiefs with a flu Mahomes, and, Buffalo's reeling. They fired their coordinator. So I could see them kind of taking the Broncos lightly too. Because usually, not always, but usually, knock on wood, backup quarterbacks kind of fall back down to earth. So hopefully that's going to happen this week.
Welcome back to Earth, Mr. Dobbs.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say the defense needs to be strong like they have been. Maybe, even if they don't get any takeaways, force bad decisions out of Dobbs. And the offense just needs to continue to grow, develop, and not make any dumb mistakes. If they can limit the dumb mistakes that push them back 10 yards, they've got a chance of pulling this game out.
And I just saw this Friday's injury report. Ben Powers and Garrett Bowles both left practice, or were limited, participants on Friday, which is
that's not good.
Interesting. Powers with a foot, Bowles with an ankle. Not that they've been great, but they've been better over the past few weeks. Like I said, it's not great, but it's better. It'll be interesting to see. I believe they're going to play, but we'll see what that does in the run game too.
Yeah. Well, that'll be interesting. I don't know. We'll see. We got till Sunday night, so we have all day tomorrow to wait for that injury report to get itself finalized.
Waiting all day for a Sunday night.
Apparently the Avalanche were waiting all day for Saturday night because it took them 2 periods to figure out they were actually trying to win a hockey game.
And hit the over.
Oh, there it is.
Just for Colin. That's all. That was the only reason they did it. It was just for you, buddy.
Oh, don't worry. That's not the only one that I got tonight.
What was the over-under?
5.5. I got it at 5.5 plus 100. It started off at 6.5. I let it drop. About 10 minutes in, when it was 0-0, it moved to 5.5 plus 100. Jumped all over it.
Nice.
So they did it, and it still wasn't really the big names. I mean, Miko scored, but Miles Wood gets the first goal of the game, or first Avs goal, excuse me. They're starting off slow. These games. I mean, I know they were in Dallas, but oh baby, I just checked. Yep, all my parlays hit today. Yeah.
I don't know. This is just such a weird Avalanche team right now because, I mean, they get completely and utterly embarrassed, and they come back and they wipe the floor with their next two opponents. They come in tonight. Dallas goes up on them 2-0. Like real quick, it felt like it wasn't quick, but it just felt like real quick.
Was it? It went 3-0. The 2-0 in the first. Yeah. Second.
Nothing in the first.
Yeah.
And it like I said, the goals, they weren't quick, but they felt like they were quick in the period. And you're just sitting there thinking, where did my Avalanche team go from 2 nights ago? And I don't know. It's such a bipolar team right now that they're better than what they're showing, but they just can't figure it out.
Yeah, I think that's going to kind of be the theme of the season. Is sadly inconsistency.
Yeah, I hate that.
I want to try to make some kind of North Pole, South Pole joke for being bipolar, but I got nothing. But yeah, it's sad because it was so fun early on. We were so excited, like, oh, hell yeah.
6-0, the boys are back.
Thanks, Joseph. We're back. It was going to be awesome. And it was awesome for a while, and then it just kind of fell apart. And now it's coming back together, but now I don't trust it. Now I'm worried that everything's going to fall apart because that's just kind of how I am.
Well, I got to ask this to you guys then.
Yeah.
Is it – I mean, it's Georgie because I'm not worried about the offense.
No.
In all honesty. Yeah. So does Georgie need to be a backup?
Well,
in all honesty, like the Avs, if they go out and get another goaltender, because what it's really been, I mean, I feel like it's Georgie giving up 3-4 goals a game.
The defense hasn't been helping him out either, though. They're not setting themselves up to be in good spots to really help him block pucks. Put pressure on these guys. There's no back check. There's really nothing going on right now defensively. It feels like that they're just kind of lackadaisically skating around because they expect him to just be able to stand on his head and look like he's able to block everything and anything.
Yeah, well then, what is it, Darcy Kemper?
Yeah, I mean, then I turn that table. Are the Avs missing Eric Johnson?
Yes, I think they are.
100%.
But I think the goalie issues, it's not just Georgiev. I feel like they need more consistency from the backup goalie spot too. I think that's been a big deal because a lot of it I think is too much on good old Georgie Porgy. So I feel like if they could bring in somebody to kind of spell him, and then maybe somebody that creates competition and does take that starting spot from him.
And your problem is your backup is an AHL guy because Frankie's probably done.
Yeah, probably. Sadly, he can't stay healthy. Even as a backup, like he doesn't even play enough to get hurt all the time. He still gets hurt all the time. So I think goalie is absolutely something they're going to try to address and try to pick up a guy. And maybe he takes the job from Georgiev, but I feel like just getting more depth at both goalie and at defenseman, like Nick and Colin, you both said, I mean, the defense isn't helping them, and they're absolutely missing Eric Johnson.
Yeah, and this goes back to my, lightning in a bottle. I mean, how the Avs won their Stanley Cup.
No, they beat the lightning in the bottle.
They kept the lightning in the bottle. But
get the toothpaste in the tube.
I mean, Frankie stayed healthy that year. And should Frankie start over Kemper? You know, there were those questions in the playoffs.
I want those kind of questions though.
Yeah, because Kemper fucked up his eye.
Well, yeah, but then Frankie showed out.
Yeah.
But in the previous years, he wasn't available in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is one of those things, you know, Nick, you just said you want that competition. Yeah, sure, you want that competition, but you got to have two guys playing at a high level for that competition to exist.
Yeah.
And for Frankie, he hasn't been available to play. Yeah. While he's shown those flashes, he's never been available. I mean, best ability is availability, and that's not one of his strong suits. So for the Avs, like where they move on, I think if they go out and you're going to have days where your defense, and I agree, the defense isn't standing up and doing a great job.
Yeah.
That's also kind of how this team is built. They're attacking offensive defensemen for the most part. So you're going to have that. So you're going to need a goalie to make some of those big plays and stand on his head multiple nights. Now, not all the time should you expect that, but you need him to do it more often than not when you got a team like the Avs that's so predicated on offensive, getting pucks in the offensive zone and their defensemen playing up. So I think that, you know, as we get closer to Christmas, who can the Avs bring in? Christmas and the New Year, who can the Avs bring in to be that guy that could push or just be the number one and give Georgie a rest? Because I think Georgie would be a great second, backup goalie.
For sure.
I just don't know if he has a starter.
And
it sucks because I want him to.
Yeah.
He's been playing so much though too. Not that that's an excuse, but he's been playing a lot more than I think he should be playing right now.
That's fair, but what do you expect once the playoffs hit? If he's got to go through this season like that, I mean, like what's going to happen to the Avs in the playoffs if he's had to play all these games? I'm just not sure if he's a legitimate number one everyday type of goaltender. That's really.
I think he is. I think he just needs a better. Well, I mean, you have to realize too that when during the regular season, the goaltender doesn't really play every day anyway. Once the playoffs hit, yes, he is your everyday netminder.
Yeah,
but you have that backup that you're comfortable with, that you know has taken his pucks and he's taken the games, win or lose. He's out. He can fill the void when he needs to, long enough to get your starter back out there.
Well, I guess I should put it this way. Maybe he is a full-time starter on a team that is defensive focused, like a Lightning team that has a great defense, or an Arizona Coyotes team that's very defensive focused, slower paced type of team. Maybe that's where he would be a better everyday type of starter. He might, and I think he struggles because the Avs are not. They're just not that type of defensive team.
Yeah, they need him to play better than maybe he can. And sadly, we only saw one playoff series last year, and it was mired in controversy. So we don't have a great barometer for how he's going to play in the playoffs. But at the same time, you kind of need to have that guy that can come in, because Frankie felt like more of like a 1B than a straight up backup.
Yeah.
And obviously depending on who the starter was, Frankie was either closer or further away. Like I think Kemper was kind of on a higher tier than he was, but him and I guess Grubauer, it's all just kind of been average goalies for the past few years for the Avalanche. But I kind of agree that I think he would make a solid backup. I mean, he was a solid backup in New York. That's where he came from.
Yeah.
Backing up what's his name, who was balling out.
Not Vasilevsky. That's
a couple years ago. That's lightning in a bottle. Yeah.
It starts with an S. It starts with
Shesterkin.
Shesterkin. Yes. Shesterkin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely. Right. His kin is Shester. But so yeah, that would be cool to bring in somebody and it maybe beats him out. I don't know. It's tough. Like, I think we won't really know until we get closer to that deadline. See teams that are selling. Where's Darcy Kemper? Can we just get him back?
Washington? I think he went to Washington.
I know Grubauer's in Seattle, and I'm over him. We already lost. Now we have to beat Grubauer. I don't want Grubauer.
Yeah, no.
I also don't follow a ton of hockey, so I don't know.
That's like your ex-girlfriend going and starting meth. I don't need you back anymore.
Yeah, we're good. But yeah, I don't know a ton of those guys that would be readily available. I know a couple of the top guys. You know, I pulled the name Shesterkin out of my ass, so that was cool. Obviously, Vasilevsky's the best in hockey, but like, yeah, I don't know who would be great guys, but I honestly think that you could go either the goalie route or the defenseman route and just shore up that defense, you know, bring in some more depth guys like how the Avs did a couple years ago, bringing in Josh Manson, somebody kind of like that. I mean, Manson hasn't lived up to that role. So maybe you bring in another kind of higher tier defensive guy so Manson can go back to that role he played previously. You know, where's Eric Johnson at?
I think it's easier to bring in goalie than it is a defenseman to mesh and
probably
play with this type of off because you want to keep that offense going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
It's easier to tinker with the goaltending than it is guys on the ice. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. There's plenty of hockey to go around still. We'll go ahead and move on real quick. So the Nuggets finally lose their first in-season tournament game to the Pelicans.
I'm devastated.
They apparently wanted to do everything they could to lose that game anyway, to the point where they were down by 20 points and still managed to lose by 3.
But KCP hit a few threes. Thank you very much. Money.
Money.
It was the third quarter. The Nuggets were down, and it was like, oh, will he get at least 1 3? Oh, yes, he will. Oh, will he get 2? Okay, I'll take that one also. Will Jokic hit a 3? Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can Michael Porter hit a 3? Oh, he hasn't hit one yet. Yeah, he's due.
Also, Christian Brown coming out putting up, was it 25 off the bench?
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty big deal. That's really nice to see. That's like some Bruce Brown level scoring that we didn't see from Christian last year. So we absolutely need to see more of that from this Nuggets team going forward.
He's really starting to step up a lot more. And
yeah,
he's expanding who he is, and I like it.
He's the reason why the Nuggets got back in that game.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he was that character in the movie that's like, come on, guys, we can do it. And everybody else is like,
I believe in you.
I've shot like 8 zombies and my shirt's torn and I'm tired and I just need some water. Look, there's a rainbow. Let's go.
God bless us, everyone.
No.
That plucky sidekick character.
Yeah. I love watching him.
He's the short round of our team.
Yeah. I love watching him play though. He goes out there, he gives you everything he's got.
Yep.
And you know, I think those guys need a guy like him to remember, you know, how lucky they are to play the game. Because I mean, I don't want to sound mean. He's not the most talented basketball player in the world. He just finds the right spots and the right time, and he has amazing basketball knowledge.
I was gonna say outworks, out hustles, out IQs guys.
Yeah.
Very smart, very high energy, high effort. And that makes up for a lot of deficiencies. But he's also like, he's taller than you think. Like, I know he kind of looks like just another guard out there, but he's tall enough to play wing, kind of small forward, kind of be a little tweener in that sense. Like he's got some stuff to him. He could end up, I think he's going to end up carving out a starting role on this team in the next couple of years. I think probably not going to push Porter, but KCP.
KCP's deal is up next year.
Yeah, KCP may have to watch his back in a different city, and the Nuggets will get even bigger at another position. Like that's one of the biggest things that people don't talk about with the Nuggets is their size advantage. Jamal Murray being taller than most other point guards. Michael Porter Jr. being taller than almost every small forward. Gordon is actually undersized at the power forward position, but don't fucking tell him that.
Jokic is like the second tallest point guard in the league behind Wembanyama.
I know, right? It's crazy.
By the way, Wembanyama, guess how many blocks he had tonight? 8. You couldn't get me one more 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it 2?
He had 8. He had 8 tonight. Tied a record for the youngest rookie ever with that many blocks in a game, or is the youngest rookie ever? I can't remember. I saw, but yeah, he had 8 tonight. Dude's a freak. I can't wait to watch him play. Except for the fact that he plays for the Spurs.
Oh, they lost to Memphis? Damn.
They were the number 1 pick for a reason last year, Joe.
Well, yeah, but Memphis is the worst team in the league right now.
I don't know if the Spurs are that far behind.
Yeah.
I don't know. Charlotte's pretty bad. Chicago's pretty bad.
Chicago's terrible.
Toronto. There's some pretty bad. The Spurs are kind of mid, which is way better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, I think it'll be seen how the season goes for the Spurs. I'm excited. I'm excited that Wembanyama's in the league, and I think that I think he's going to take some MVPs from Jokic, or possible MVPs.
Eventually, maybe, but I mean, this year he's pretty much. I mean, it's him or Chet for Rookie of the Year.
Oh yeah,
that's the race, and the fact that Chet's keeping up is phenomenal. Like they just beat Golden State in overtime.
Yeah, I was going to say Chet had 36, 10, and 5 assists with 2 steals tonight.
Yeah, Chet's phenomenal too. Like the Spurs remind me of OKC last year. I think the Spurs are going to end up being a play-in team. They may not make it out of the play-in, like OKC sadly didn't.
They make noise.
But yeah, they're going to make noise. They're going to get better. They might not even have to do too many free agency, like off-season moves, similar to OKC. Like all they did was get Chet healthy, and they brought in some guys from Eurobasket, which I don't think have even played much. So yeah, I kind of see them as that, and then OKC I think is kind of making that jump to kind of be similar to Minnesota, getting into the playoffs, doing some stuff, having fun, and then Minnesota looks like the second best team in the West.
They want to win the tournament.
Yeah,
I told you that beforehand. They're going to win they're trying to win it. I was like them or Atlanta. Yeah,
I can see that, but they're just playing so good right now. They might just win it inadvertently. Like the Gobert and Cat have figured out how to like coexist. Anthony Edwards is Anthony Edwards. Turns out them missing Jaden McDaniels was a huge deal. Like they're a defensive juggernaut right now. It's fun to watch. That's gonna be a tough playoff matchup if the Nuggets, who are very offensive oriented, go up against the defensive oriented Timberwolves. That'll be fun. I can't wait. It's weird that some of the other teams in the NBA are more exciting right now than the Nuggets, just because we know what the Nuggets are and we're seeing a lot of that same stuff from them. And like with Denver, it's more about the bench and who's going to step up and be that guy. Especially with Murray out, but it's just been fun watching the rest of the NBA. I wish the in-season tournament mattered. This would be a great time for a tournament.
Jokic made history the other night.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Again.
Just keep rewriting those books, kids.
Yeah, keep putting his name in there.
He's pretty good.
And Perkins, keep his name out your mouth. So I don't forget you and Nick Wright. All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Keep my guy's name out your fucking mouth.
All right. Let's move on to baseball before you guys really start attacking Perkins.
I'm going to slap him in the face.
So the Rockies made a trade.
He would destroy me, just to be clear. I'm 5'9".
And the Rockies traded for a pitcher.
So the Rockies,
he's still arbitration eligible.
But
I don't get this move.
What do you mean? Like he's getting a divorce?
No, they can barter about his salary for the next 3 years. So he won't be a free agent right away. The Rockies will have control, and basically every year they'll go to a negotiation table and determine how much he's going to make that season.
Okay. Is he good?
Moderate? He's been hurt.
He's like a third starter.
That sounds like the Rockies to me.
But I
He's
mean,
going to be the number one guy.
I was going to say a third starter on most teams, but for the Rockies, once the inevitable injury to Sensatella or Herman
a good sense
Freeland happens, he's all of a sudden the number one starter. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but really for the Rockies, what it's showing is that they know they need pitching, and they showed this at the trade deadline too, when they traded for the pitchers from the Angels and they got rid of Grichuk and Crone. It shows that they are addressing the issue, and they're addressing it with guys who might have the right mentality, that they're happy to be there and pitch, and they might not care as much about their ERA as long as they're able to go out there day in, day out. Because that's the thing with Coors Field. You can't consistently look at your stats when you're pitching at Coors Field, even with the Bridage barrier. You still can't worry about things like your ERA. You just have to go out there and throw and have a short-term memory. And so the Rockies might just be trying to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks with pitchers. And I'm okay with that. I told you I would be happy with them doing what the Angels did. 21 rounds, 21 picks.
Yeah.
So spend them all on pitchers.
And he's a second-generation pitcher, too. So his dad is Paul Quantrill. And so, he's you were trying to figure that name out, weren't you?
I knew the Quantrill name. I'm like, was he a pitcher? Was he an outfielder? I couldn't remember who it was in Paul Quantrill. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He I think he pitched for Toronto. I know he pitched for Toronto because I'm pretty sure he's Canadian.
Hey.
But Canadian, eh? Blame Canada. Blame Canada. Red
I was going to go for the Rihanna joke.
Is it Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, eh?
The Hall of Fame.
Larry Walker.
Yeah, so he's in there with Larry Walker. So, I mean, his dad should be able to at least help him through how to pitch in Denver. I mean, his dad pitched in Toronto. So there's that.
That's close enough.
And, I mean, he's had to come through Denver because he pitched for the Dodgers, pitched for the Padres, pitched for the Marlins. So,
well, you play every team in baseball. It's not like football where you only play a certain amount.
No, not
the
before.
NFL. Huh?
That was before last year was the first year they had that schedule.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So they'd have 162 games, and you wouldn't even play the entire MLB in 162. That's fucking
you want
dumb.
to play two divisions.
Yeah, you play. So like you
play
play
one American League
and the NL Central. Just they had it set up so you knew every year who you were playing, which divisions you were playing against besides your own.
Yeah. Like in football, we used to always know who the Broncos' opponents were going to be before the schedule ever got released. It was just what order is it going to be in.
Yeah.
And now we still kind of know. It's just there's one team now that we have to figure out.
I'm a little concerned just because he's set to make $6 million this year. I mean, obviously that's going to go up because he's going to have to be the ace of the staff because of the way the Rockies pitch.
Well, like I said, he'll eventually be the ace once the injuries hit.
Yeah, that's what. Well, I mean, you got two guys that are already out with the Tommy John.
Yeah.
So they may not pitch this season.
Or the Hawkinson for short.
So I'm glad they're at least trying to address what they need to address. It does make me feel better, but I don't know. That's a little bit. That's some money right there that you may or may not have.
Well, I don't think the Rockies are taking out a $50 million loan like the Padres to pay him.
Probably not.
There is something to be said also that the Rockies are trying something that other teams probably wouldn't do in taking in an arbitration eligible guy.
Yeah.
You don't see that a lot, but the Rockies are trying something different. And I'm okay with that because what they've done hasn't worked.
Well, that and the Tribe, I think, is trying to cut a bunch of payroll too. Yeah. They got a little expensive.
They're terrible.
Could you imagine the Alpine Bank commercial? Please open an account with us. We gave the Rockies $50 million.
First bank, the Colorado Bank of the Rockies.
Winter meetings should be starting here, next week? Not this week, but next week.
I was going to say, 2 weeks. Yeah, the first week of December, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right after Thanksgiving.
Yep, so that'll be fun. I mean, I'm excited for that. So we'll wait for that. I was glad the Rockies did something pitcher-wise, not washed-up outfielder that you can put in a DH spot and hide in right field when you give Charlie Blackmon a day off.
One of those like moves that like you picture that scene in Moneyball where the entire scouting room was like, what the hell are we doing here, Billy? Except that it doesn't work and it's not smart, and all those guys in the room were right. But the Rockies, I don't think, have a room like that.
I was gonna say there's nobody in that room for the Rockies.
Just Dick Mumford.
Well, there's got to be some other voice in this room right now that has changed some things or some thinking. I don't know what it is.
I would hope so. I mean, by this point, but
because these are much different moves for the Rockies.
Yeah.
I
mean, if anybody's gonna have a room where they're always right, it's gonna be Colin.
Oh,
and so Colin, time to show us how right you are. It's time for the victory formation.
I really hope
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The Pick'em segment proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin just kind of winging it.
Oh, that's right, everybody.
How's that for a segue?
Here we are in the victory formation.
Speaking of segues, do you like that as the podcast opener, Nick?
Yeah.
Man, my 4-pick parlay, I just got to tell you, it was Washington money line, Texas money line, and then Giannis and Luka both over 30 points in the game. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's go. $10 into 100.
Nice.
Well, we don't often turn $10 into 100 here, but Nick was able to turn himself into a second place after last weekend. So we'll see if Joe can make a comeback. And
don't call it a comeback.
Can start catching up to me. So we'll start with the first game on the docket, what we started the show off with. That is Sunday Night Football. Denver Broncos favored at minus 148. Minnesota plus 124. Nick, Joe, since you were so eager just to give a score earlier and just do it, you might as well go first.
Sure, bucket. So what's the are we going cover or just win-loss?
No, just win-loss.
That's what I thought.
The Broncos are favored 148 minus 148.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, wait, should I actually pick someone to cover? I mean, it's this game. I don't know.
This is like last week all over again.
Yeah.
I mean, last week where me and Joe picked the Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. I keep getting ready for the Broncos to turn back into a pumpkin. So, and the Vikings are pretty talented. It's just so close. It's a coin flip. So fuck it. Let's go Minnesota.
He is going Minnesota. Nick, who you got?
I think
I really need to ask.
Magic of Dobbs wears out. Broncos are at home. It's Sunday night. They're donning the blues. Gotta go Broncos.
You know, I can't say I've had a dream or a feeling or anything about this one, but I really I want to pick against the Broncos.
Colin had a feeling in his gut, but it was just indigestion.
Yeah. I had too much Taco Bell. # not a sponsor. DMs are open. this is tough because I think the Broncos, as I mentioned earlier, I don't know how they're going to play with this momentum and how they react to the success they've had. But I also think that Josh Dobbs has to come down to earth at some point. And this Broncos defense has been playing so well that I have to go with the Broncos at home.
Ooh, all right. Houston, we have a problem. Josh Dobbs is burning up on re-entry.
All right. The next game on Sunday night that no one will be watching.
You know what happens when you burn up on re-entry? You burn your eyebrows off.
Oh, you lose your eyebrows. Well, that's probably because you're on some rockets, and you should probably end up in a lake, as the Houston Rockets head to LA to take on the Lakers in Sunday Night Basketball. Houston plus 180 underdog, Lakers minus 218. I probably should have flipped this around and let Joe go first on this one, but that's okay. I guess I'm going with Nick. Nick, who you got, Houston or the Lakers in La La Land?
I never saw that movie. Heard it was good.
It feels like a Lakers win. I don't know why. It feels like just enough for them to walk out of there with a dub.
You see what I did here, folks, is I knew that Nick was going to pick the Broncos, and then I had to give him the only choice of a team that he hates to choose. There you go. He takes the Lakers. Joe, who you got?
It's like all the times when you picked baseball games, you made Nick choose between like the Red Sox and some other team that he also hates.
I mean, honestly, most of those just came down to Sunday Night Baseball.
Oh, Sunday Night Baseball. The Yankees are playing again.
The Yankees are playing the best team in baseball, and the Rangers. Hey, guess what?
Oh, look, the Cubs are playing today. They're playing.
Oh, Joe, Houston or the Lakers?
Houston's been on a tear. I think I like, especially with all of the jokes we made today. There's no way I'm not taking the Rockets, man. Like
Joe,
my guy Fred Van Vliet, he's gonna lift off and dunk all over all those taller people than him. They've got that young rookie, Amen Thompson. He's just skyrocketing right now. And then
don't forget about Uncle Jeff, who's got the booster shot. I am actually going Houston also in this one. They have been on a roll. Lakers are a better team, but I think Houston, ride with it when you can get it. So I'm going with Houston.
Yeah. Also Houston, everyone's favorite adultery committing head coach, Ime Udoka.
Okay. Moving on to Monday Night Football. He's not in Boston.
He's not in Boston.
This is Monday Night Football. Eagles are visiting Kansas City. Kansas City coming off the bye.
It's not in Boston.
And they were not in Boston. They were in Germany. And the Eagles coming off of a bye as well. So it's basically the clash of Andy Reid against his old team. Andy Reid not losing off buys. And his not his successor, because that was, oh my goodness,
10 years ago.
Well, his predecessor is also the Jaguars coach,
Doug
Peterson, who led them to the Super Bowl afterwards. So this is kind of two forces, really. Two of the best teams in the NFL going at it on Sunday night. And for some reason, these odds are the exact same as the Broncos and Minnesota. So these both should be close games, I guess, is what people are thinking.
Cool.
I am taking the Eagles in KC. While KC's defense has been great as of late, I don't think their offense can stay with what the Eagles can do. So give me the Eagles as dogs on the road. Nick, you are up.
The Bird Dogs?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Mahomes had some time to get healthy, but he's still missing some pieces. Their run game still has not come together like I think they wanted it to. Philly's just been strong this year. I got to go the Eagles.
Joe.
I think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to take it to the moon. Nick's totally right. The running game has not materialized the way that we potentially thought it would. But when has that ever stopped them before? When the Chiefs have a good running game, it was Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about that. I think their defense has played like sneakily well. Philly definitely seems to have more pieces, but I don't know. KC, especially Andy Reid against his old team, he loves beating those guys. I think he's only done it a couple times, but man, that's got to feel good from being there for so long and being so maligned by that, the media and the fan base about how you can't get it done. But like, look what they gave him. Like, name the best receiver on the Eagles Super Bowl teams, or like championship teams. He wasn't even there yet. By the time he got there, they weren't making.
He was there with McNabb.
NFC championships? No, I don't think he was. I think he was Nick Foles and Michael Vick. McNabb, it was like, there's that short white dude. I don't remember his name.
Deshaun Jackson was there.
Was he there? Okay,
Yeah.
I nailed it
as a rookie.
Quarterback. This 2012 was Vince Young was their quarterback. Steve Smith.
That was Michael Vick.
Yeah, Vince Young was only a quarterback for like a week or two. He was the backup for Vick, and he played a couple games. That was the last place he played.
It's a dream team.
Yeah, like they didn't have a ton of talent around McNabb. Like it was McNabb and Brian Westbrook and a quality defense, but Andy Reid just has so much more now that I think he's just going to he's going to enjoy sticking it to them, and maybe he won't distract himself in the middle of the season, but he'll really enjoy reading those news clippings at the end of the year for beating his old team.
Give me those nuggies.
Would you guys explain that to me again?
It's like a combo meal. Well, that's a combo meal of picks for y'all this weekend. I'm excited to go 3-0 again. That means
here's a name for you.
That means Nick, you're going 2-1, and Joe, you're only going to get 1 win, but that's all right.
Thanks.
Oh no, I don't know. This weekend's going to be interesting. I'm excited for Sunday Night Football, and excited that next week we'll get the recap of it and see if Nick stays in second place.
No.
Yes.
No, he won't.
Yes.
Or Joe can get a good win.
Yeah, that's my name.
Yeah,
you missed. I made that joke last week while you were fading out, and then I kept fading out, and everything was terrible. But yeah, I was all like, like a good win, right there.
Man.
Well, every win for me is a good win.
Yeah, well, thanks to Michael Spillane and all the crew over at E5280 Sports for having us on their network. As always, you can find us there at E5280sports.com. You can find us on Spotify.
Like it, share it, subscribe, whatever.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Make us part of your family. Invite us over for Thanksgiving. We eat a lot, so you won't have leftovers. And make sure to check out all the great shows on E5280 as well. Wheelhouse, Between the Lines, Gridiron Intel. Actually, in the morning, the Wheelhouse will be on, so get your happy selves up.
Yeah.
Prepared for Sunday football.
I think I'll be on it.
It's right in your wheelhouse.
Undrafted Wheelhouse.
Get it in your wheelhouse.
Undrafted Wheelhouse, baby.
Build a wheelhouse, and then it'll be
wheelhouse.
right in your wheelhouse.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We love you guys. Till next
Love
time.
y'all.
So is wheelhouse like a British term for a garage?